I mean, do you know what the inside of milk looks like? Because I do.
What?
The
I
inside
do.
of milk.
Yeah.
My brain just stopped working. How does one know what the inside of milk
So it's
looks
just like water, and then there's like tiny little micro droplets of like fat and proteins.
Right, it's a colloid.
Yeah.
Gross.
But what's inside milk?
That's what I mean. That's what it looks like.
But that's the outside.
No, it's not.
Is milk a colloid?
Milk is a colloid.
I think he's right. I think it is.
Milk is an emulsified colloid of liquid butterfat globules dispersed within a water-based solution.
You're a butterfat globule.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, no, I don't know. Maybe it is. Have I ever told my colloid story on this podcast?
No, but can you tell us...
have a colloid story?
Yeah, who has
Since
a
we're
colloid story?
Well, I mean, everybody's got a I have my colloid story, too. It might not be as good as Mark's.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we should go round robin then.
Right?
Mark, before you tell us your colloid story, do you want to kind of tell us some examples and define a colloid formally? Because we talked about it on the
So,
can we do it in a song?
I'm not looking at it at the page anymore, but
sure.
So we're a
colloid's
solution.
a gas of infinite. Sorry. My resolution is to not piss off Mark this year by interrupting him with dumb songs.
That's it. That's so specific.
It's a very specific but very helpful resolution.
My resolution was to be more like John this year, so we'll see how that works
God
out.
damn it! You just want to switch places. So where a solution is, they both, it's two like liquids mixed together, and that's whatever. That's fine. A colloid is a liquid suspension of solid particles. So yeah, in the case of milk, it would be like fat globules.
Is Kool-Aid a colloid?
No,
because it dissolves completely.
Could it be?
Right. Yeah. So I think. Yeah. There's.
I don't think you'd want to. It'd just be undissolved.
Kool-Aid.
Oh God.
Marinate with that for a little while, John. Just sit and think about that.
All right. I'll bring it back at the end. Yeah.
Good
Great.
Lord.
Yeah, so Mark, instead of a solid that you might like salt or something, you could put in water that would dissolve and become part of the liquid.
Right.
The colloidal suspension remains solid in the liquid.
Right. It does not. Yes, exactly.
Okay. So do you have any examples besides...
So when I was taught, again, 7th grade science, which I think I got not that good a grade in, the two examples that I remember were fog and Jell-O.
Fog?
Fog is interesting.
Yeah.
You explain that one?
It's an air colloid?
I mean, yes. Right? Like, I guess that is what it is.
Huh.
So the air is the solution, but what's the solid?
Water.
Whoa. Is there ice in fog?
No. It's just...
Oh, it's just two different phases?
Exactly.
That are,
yeah.
Oh,
right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another really interesting one is colored glass, apparently.
Sure. Glass is technically a liquid.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why on really old windows you see, like...
Yeah.
They deform over time.
Fuck?
It's like very slow moving. Like
all right,
Jesus Christ.
Let's give a much more because we just gave a definition and then gave like 3 different examples that were the most confusing examples.
Yeah,
like the most like. Oh, well, we said it's solid in a liquid,
Jared,
but it's fog. Yeah.
Jared, in order for anybody to understand anything, you need to understand all of the edge cases and exactly why they are edge cases.
That's true. We'll give them a more full understanding. Let's give them a middle case,
I guess.
a center case.
All definitions are just human constructions. But
Jesus Christ, our Lord.
And we're back.
No, you cannot summon the... I didn't... Oh, goddamn.
So if I was making... If I threw some cornstarch into water, that cornstarch would never dissolve in the water, and but it would be suspended in the water, and that is a suspension. That's a colloid. That's what I think of.
Sure.
Yeah.
Solid in liquid. All right, Mark.
Mayonnaise is a colloid.
Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise, that makes sense. Anyways, colloid story. So, my teacher, who, whatever, he was a fine dude.
Jesus.
Told me that told the class, not me specifically, but he told the class that that fog was a colloid and that Jello was a colloid. And then later on, he was talking about the physical properties of colloids, and one of them was that they reflect light. And I don't know if that's true for all colloids, but it set my tiny little head in motion. How old are people in 7th grade? Like 12?
19.
12.
Most of us were 12.
Yeah.
So it set my 12-year-old
All of us
head,
were definitely 12.
it set my 12-year-old head in motion. And I raised my hand, and Mr. Cassoni called on me. And I'm not doxing him. I doubt he's still alive.
Jesus Christ!
God damn it, Mark.
Oh, boy.
He calls on me, and I'm like, so he was explaining, like, this is why they reflect light, and this is why you don't put your high beams on when it's foggy, because it just reflects light back at you.
Oh, okay.
Pro tip, listener, do not put your high beams on when you're driving when it's foggy, because it doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Really
In fact, it just makes it harder for you to see.
When do you use the high beams?
When it's dark,
Just
And
when it's
and
nobody
nobody else
else
is around.
I mean, as somebody who lived in the middle of the fucking nowhere, I use my high beams all the time.
Yeah.
It's fun.
If you feel comfortable taking off your pants, that's when you can use your high beams.
I see. Good rule of thumb, John.
Huh.
And you can do both.
I mean, you just sort of
And I
implied
will.
that would be the situation.
And I am right now.
Good. So, I raise my hand. Mr. Cassoni calls on me, and I'm like, if that's true... Let me do the character voice.
Oh, God.
If that's true... I sound the exact same when I was 12.
It was very similar.
I'm the exact same person.
Well, all your children tend to sound a lot like Gilbert Gottfried. Just in the other... When you do a child voice, it tends to sound a lot like Gilbert Gottfried.
I don't think that's true.
We should do a supercut of that. All the times Mark's impersonating a child.
Oh, they do. You're right. Okay. I was like, so if you're driving and you come up to a big wall of Jell-O, and you put your high beams on, would it reflect back at you? And Mr. Cassoni just looked at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I've never been looked at like I was a stupid / crazy person before.
I mean,
But-
he should just answer your question, yes.
Yeah, I know he could have, and it probably would have been better for my sort of academic development, but oh friggin' well, Mr. Cassoni.
I think you did just fine, Mark.
I did okay.
You did just fine.
No thanks to you, Mr. Casoidi, who may or may not be
Cassoni.
Cassoni, who may or may not be dead.
I doubt he's still alive. I would be surprised, honestly.
He wasn't old, he just had a lot of enemies, so I don't know.
No, he was like a burned out hippie, and he was...
Wow.
Gosh, this keeps getting better.
Yeah, I think when I was 12, he was probably like, oh, he might still be alive.
Shit.
Have we all had kind of like wackadoodle teachers? Because I definitely had some wackadoodle teachers.
Wackadoodle?
Yeah.
I don't think...
That's the homiest, most Midwestern thing I've ever heard.
Oh, that wackadoodle teacher. He sent home some strange grades, didn't he? Oh, boy.
Uh,
That Mr. Marconi, or whatever his name is.
What?
What?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Cassoni.
Yes. That's fine.
Castrati?
No, that's different.
Johnny, you need to be a good listener.
Mm-hmm. You're right. I'll add that to the list.
John hastily scribbles down,
Be a
Like,
good listener.
Stop antagonizing Mark. Be
buy
better
a pizza.
listener.
No, just something unrelated completely.
He just writes down sausages on his shopping list.
There you go. That was way better.
We could turn this episode into a Mythbusters type thing and make Mark's Jello wall. And that's the whole episode.
Do we have... We
Jell-O?
need water. We need gelatin.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
you
need
have to,
very
like,
cold
Cook
place.
it, right?
You have to boil it and then let it freeze. Or not freeze,
Jesus
but cool.
Christ. It's going to take forever.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to do it in one batch. We can slowly build the Jell-O wall.
I know, but I'm saying it's going to take
Oh,
forever.
we can make Jello bricks.
Ooh. Now there's a thought. Even though...
Jello bricks.
And then what's the mortar?
Yeah,
Jello.
I don't know.
No.
It could be more Jello. If we make the Jello bricks and then we build the wall and then we pour Jello over it, and let it.
Jello will seep into the cracks.
What's the point of having Jello bricks?
Because then we can assemble.
You just pour Jello in there.
Into where?
Well, you would have to have a mold for a wall.
Yeah, we would need a mold.
You have to have a mold for pouring Jello over your bricks, otherwise it's gonna get everywhere.
No, it covers the
right
bricks.
down the cracks.
Yeah, it goes down the cracks and around the form, and then it hardens.
Sorry, you guys are not thinking about this logically. I feel like it's just gonna go straight to the floor.
Wait, what? I'm confused.
You have a wall of
Yes.
Jello bricks,
A brick
and then
wall.
you pour it on the top, and
Yes.
then it slides down the sides and down the cracks and down.
No, it's
all
not going
of
to
it.
go down the. It's not going to go in the middle.
Yeah, I guess it depends what the spacing is between the cracks, but it'll slide down and cover the wall if you pour enough of it, right?
Yeah, I just feel you're gonna make a huge mess.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
at that point, you might
absolutely.
as well
Completely impractical.
Are you saying that my Jello wall, which is going to be 30 feet tall by 20
God.
feet
Is
wide,
impractical?
is impractical, Kelsey?
I'm just saying the way you're building your Jello wall is impractical. And if we were competing against each other for building a Jello wall,
How are you going to build your Jello wall?
If I was going to do it brick method, I would use something pretty freaking solid as my mortar.
But if it's heavier than your Jello, then it's going to tear the gelatin apart.
You can have something that's very solid and not heavy.
Like super glue?
That works.
What? You can't super glue Jello together.
You can't super glue Jello together. On the back of the container, it specifically says, we'll work on anything except for gelatin.
On the off chance that anyone tries, we're printing
I
this.
probably use some kind of frosting.
Frosting?
But then you have two different consistencies
Now
of
you
your
have-
wall. You have
now
like
it's
this
not just a
hard,
Jell-O
rigid...
wall.
Yeah. You've got like this hard, rigid, like,
So
interlace.
maybe we should just abandon the brick method and just build a mold, fill it with Jello, and then remove the mold.
Too hard! You gotta make the mold. You have to find a container. You have to find a place that's cold enough for it to set, and then you have to boil all that water and put all that gelatin into it.
I think if you waited long enough at room temperature, it would set.
Wonder if you could use a cement mixer to mix a bunch of Jello.
A what
Yeah.
mixer?
Cement?
Oh God! Not wrong. Not wrong.
No, I just like the way he said cement.
Yes.
Cement? The correct way? God
I'm
damn it!
sorry.
Yeah, what was
What
that?
was the other thing that we were?
You folksy
Buffalo-
Midwesterners.
buffet.
He's not a Midwesterner.
Is
Yeah,
he
I'm from Colorado.
That's not a Midwest state.
It's in the interior.
It's not a Midwest
It's not
state.
California, and it's not the Northeast or North.
Yeah.
No.
Southeast.
It's a, I don't know what it is. Desert state? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a desert, yeah.
I guess you just have mountains. I don't know. There's the Great Plains states, the
We
Midwest.
have lost the train.
No,
So
I don't
far,
think there.
yeah.
I like.
There
your
is no trade.
I like your cement mixer idea.
Cement. It's the best. I genuinely like it.
Yeah, I think it's actually probably the most practical because it also has the little thing that you
Yeah,
can
the little
guide it
chute.
out. Yeah, the chute. Okay. This seems. And if you can heat up the mixer, then you can boil it in there too while it's mixing.
Maybe we make a line of these mixers designed specifically for Jello applications and call them Jello shooters.
Nice.
What the hell would we use a Jello wall for?
For the
To test
experiment.
whether headlights come back at you.
There's no other uses?
You can just run into it as fast as
Yeah,
you can.
I'm sure frats would love
Oh,
that.
Yeah,
man.
Jello shot wall?
No, if the wall was, let's say, I don't know, 7 inches thick, I
Okay.
would try to run through it.
Oh,
Like,
Jesus.
I would
Not
sprint
where I thought you were going.
Oh, man.
Oh, good.